I am safe as well. I'm convinced now that Arun.
Leadership crisis again shakes the Congress party as senior Congress leaders write to Sonia Gandhi demanding a full-time leader. Ahead of today's key CWC meet, leaders also demand complete overhaul of the organizational structure. Flood situation in Bihar continues to remain grim with over 83 lakh people in 16 districts affected. Uttar Pradesh also faces flood fury and state government sets 2,000 relief camps for affected people. Heavy rains inundate low-lying areas of Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh. Recovery rate from COVID-19 rises to nearly 75% with over 22 lakh 80,000 recoveries. Fatality rate further falls to 1.86%. Global case tally crosses the grim milestone of 2 crore 35 lakh cases with over 8 lakh fatalities worldwide. US President Donald Trump announces emergency use authorization by FDA for a convalescent plasma treatment, calls it a historic announcement, claiming 35% reduction in mortality. And in sports, Bayern Munich defeat Paris Saint-Germain 1-0 in a tightly contested UEFA Champions League final. Kingsley Coman scores the winning goal as German club wins a treble, lifts the European Cup for the 6th time. Good morning, welcome to English News. I am Anil Thomas. Now for the stories in detail. Leadership crisis shook the Congress party once again, seeking collective leadership. 23 senior Congress leaders have written to Congress President Sonia Gandhi, the current in charge of the party, demanding a full-time leader ahead of today's key CWC meet. The letter in question has also stressed collective decision-making with Gandhi family as its integral part, and with that, along with standing leadership crisis in Congress coming to the help.
Once again being raised over the leadership crisis in the Congress. 23 senior Congress leaders have written to Sonia Gandhi, the current in charge of the party, demanding a full-time leader. Among those leaders, 5 former chief ministers, several members of the Congress Working Committee, current members of parliament and former ministers have written for an overhaul of the organizational structure and changes to the leadership. The letter by former ministers and some MPs was believed to have been written a few weeks ago and sets the stage for a stormy CWC meeting where issues flagged by dissenters are expected to be discussed and debated. These leaders have called for bringing changes in the organization by effecting reforms through decentralization of power and empowerment of state units, besides setting up of the Central Parliamentary Board, a body that existed in the party in the 1970s but was later wound up. The letter in question has also stressed collective decision-making with the Gandhi family as its integral part.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी आप देखते हैं 3 साल में अध्यक्ष बदल जाता है, फिर बाद में नेहरू जी अध्यक्ष, उसके बाद इंदिरा जी अध्यक्ष, उसके बाद राजीव जी अध्यक्ष, उसके बाद सोनिया जी अध्यक्ष, उसके बाद राहुल जी अध्यक्ष, और राहुल ने छोड़ी तो फिर सोनिया अध्यक्ष। अहमद की टोपी मोहम्मद के सिर, मोहम्मद की टोपी अहमद के सिर, और बाकी कांग्रेस हो गई अनाथ।
The concerns expressed by party leaders in a letter to Sonia Gandhi are serious in nature, and it remains to be seen what the Congress decides on it. With inputs from Ajay Vikram Singh, DD India.
And now an update from the flood and rain situation across the country. The flood situation in Bihar remains grim with several rivers still flowing above the danger mark. This has resulted in heavy water discharge from the Gandak and Koshi barrage. The river Ganga is also flowing above the danger mark in many places. More than 83 lakh people of 16 districts of the state are still affected by the floods. The relief work is in full swing as 26 teams of the NDRF and SDRF are engaged, while boat ambulances have been introduced in Khagadia to treat animals living in the stranded water. Moving to Uttar Pradesh, 1,090 villages in 16 districts have been affected by floods. River Sharda, Rapti, Sarayu are flowing above the danger mark. Meanwhile, the Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has instructed district magistrates to provide materials through boats in the flood affected areas. 15 teams of NDRF and 7 teams of SDRF and PAC have been deployed in the flood affected districts for rescue measures. Heavy rains inundated low-lying areas in several parts of Madhya Pradesh. The Met Department has issued a red alert for heavy rain in the western part of the state, including Bhopal, Indore and Seor. Due to increase in the water level, barrage gates are being opened from time to time. The state government has issued instructions to the district collectors to set up a 24-hour disaster relief teams, while Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has also directed district collectors to remain in constant contact for quick relief measures. Moving to Gujarat, in Mehsana, rainwater inundated roads and entered following heavy rainfall. NDRF teams are also on standby in the district to deal with waterlogging situation. In West Bengal, the Met Department has predicted heavy rains in South 24 Parganas, East and West Midnapur, Jhargram, Purulia and Bankura districts for the next 2 days. Well, time now to take a look at update on the COVID-19 situation from across the country. Consistently increasing number of recoveries has pushed the recovery rate to nearly 75%. Aggressive testing coupled with efficient clinical treatment has resulted in almost 100% increase in recovered cases. India's total recoveries now exceed the total active cases of 7,07,668 by nearly 16 lakhs. Over 22 lakhs 80,000 people have recovered from the virus so far. Because of the robust testing and sustained centers policy of testing aggressively, tracking comprehensively and treating efficiently, this has resulted in the gradual fall in the mortality rate. Currently, India's case fatality rate is at 1.86%, which is one of the lowest globally. The testing strategy also ensured a steady expansion of the national lab network. Today, with 983 labs in the government sector and 532 private labs, 1,515 labs are providing comprehensive testing facilities to the people. Andhra Pradesh police in Dodavaram village of East Godavari district used a boat to take a COVID-19 patient to the hospital as the village is flooded following incessant rainfall in the region. The boat was arranged by a sub-inspector of the Nagaram village of the district. The person has been suffering from coronavirus and he was facing problems in breathing since Saturday morning. Sub-inspector arranged a boat to Dodavaram village and took the patient to the hospital. The centre has written to state governments and union territories to include all eligible Divyang persons under the National Food Security Act or the NFSA 2013. The Department of Food and Public Distribution has advised all states and union territories to ensure that all Divyang persons who are eligible as per the identification criteria of beneficiaries under NFSA are covered under the National Food Security Act and they get their entitled quota of food grains under NFSA and the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana as per provisions of the Act. Those not covered should be covered with fresh ration cards to be issued as per the eligibility criteria. The department reiterated that disability is one of the criteria for inclusion of beneficiaries under the Antyodaya Anna Yojana. Households as disabled persons are a vulnerable section of the society. The letter further advised that it is imperative that they are also covered by states and union territories under the priority households as per the criteria of identification evolved by them. The Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs (CBIC) has asked GST field officers to conduct hearings in GST appeal cases through video conferencing for their expeditious disposal while ensuring social distancing. In a letter to the Principal Chief Commissioners, the CBIC said the feedback received from the trade and field formations on this indicated that the initiative has helped in speeding up passing of adjudication and appellate proceedings. The board added that this initiative would facilitate all stakeholders such as suppliers under GST, importers, exporters, advocates, tax practitioners and authorized representatives. The CBIC also issued guidelines for conducting virtual hearings for GST appeals. It said in any proceedings before appellate or adjudicating authority, the authority shall mandatorily indicate that the person hearing would take place through video conferencing facility. The virtual hearing through video conference will be conducted through available applications or other secured computer networks. Chaos ensued as a country-made bomb exploded in Kanpur's Bagai area in Uttar Pradesh on Sunday night. No casualties have been reported so far. The dog squad, a forensic science laboratory team and police reached the spot soon after the incident took place. In the incident, a pig was injured after biting into an explosive at a garage dump. Today is the first death anniversary of Arun Jaitley, who held the portfolios of Defence, Finance and Corporate Affairs and Information and Broadcasting as part of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's cabinet. He was one of Bharatiya Janata Party's tallest figures and a key architect of its campaign strategy across elections. He fiercely attacked the UPA government on the corruption allegations and policy paralysis.
A noted legal luminary, an affable and highly skilled politician, the late Arun Jaitley is a name in Indian politics who started his career as a student leader from Delhi University. The journey from a student leader to a defense minister and a finance minister effectively tells the story of his personality. Arun Jaitley, who held portfolios of defense, finance and corporate affairs and information and broadcasting as a part of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's cabinet, was an astute politician who will always be remembered as a troubleshooter and one who could win over everyone, even across party lines. Late Arun Jaitley also handled many ministries, including the Law Ministry in the Atal Bihari Vajpayee government. Arun Jaitley's brilliant innings as the leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha comes to mind often. He not only raised a voice in parliament against UPA government on the 2G and coal scam, but also played an effective role in spurring the movement against corruption across the country. Arun Jaitley, who was a senior advocate in the Supreme Court, was a skilled orator who, by his eloquence, made a mark as a leader of the opposition. Arun Jaitley was a politician whose relationship with leaders of all parties was unique. The late Arun Jaitley, who had an equally good command over Hindi and English, will always be remembered for implementing GST and incorporating the railway budget into the general budget. Arun Jaitley also played a crucial organizational role in Bharatiya Janata Party. He played a key role as the national spokesperson of the party as the organization in charge of several states. Arun Jaitley was a long-serving member of the parliamentary board and the Central Election Committee of the Bharatiya Janata Party. His success as the BJP in charge during Bihar Assembly election in 2005 is now a prominent part of party lore. Arun Jaitley, who did not join the cabinet due to health reasons in 2019 in PM Modi's second term, bid goodbye to the world on 24th August at the age of 66. We pay our tributes to him on his first death anniversary. With inputs from Rajesh Raj, Bureau Report, DD India.
Home Minister Amit Shah paid tributes to Arun Jaitley. The Home Minister in a tweet said, and I quote, "Remembering Arun Jaitley ji, an outstanding politician, prolific orator and a great human being who had no parallels in Indian polity. He was multifaceted and a friend of friends who will always be remembered for his towering legacy, transformative vision and devotion to the nation." Time now to take a look at updates on COVID-19 from across the world. Over 2 crore 35 lakh coronavirus cases have been reported worldwide, with more than 8 lakh 12,000 deaths being reported. As many as 1 crore 60 lakh people have recovered from the virus so far across the globe. United States remains the worst hit by the pandemic so far, with the highest number of infection. USA has over 58 lakh 74,000 cases of coronavirus, with the death toll more than 1 lakh 80,000. United States is followed by Brazil, which has now recorded more than 1 lakh 14,000 deaths and over 36 lakh 5,000 cases. Mexico remains the third worst hit country in terms of deaths due to coronavirus, as the country has reported over 60,000 deaths so far. US President Donald Trump has said that the coronavirus treatment with blood plasma donated by COVID-19 recovered patients will be expanded to more people. He said that it is a powerful therapy and has the incredible rate of success. The US Food and Drug Administration confirmed on Sunday that it had cleared blood plasma therapy for use in certain patients. The move would make it easier to receive the treatment. The announcement also came on the eve of the Republican National Convention, where Trump will be nominated to lead his party for 4 more years. Earlier, Trump had accused some health officials of playing politics over the plasma therapy treatment.
I'm pleased to make a truly historic announcement in our battle against the China virus that will save countless lives. The FDA has issued an emergency use authorization, and that's such a powerful term, emergency use authorization for a treatment known as convalescent plasma. This is a powerful therapy that transfuses very, very strong antibodies from the blood of recovered patients to help treat patients battling a current infection. It's had an incredible rate of success. Today's action will dramatically expand access to this treatment.
US President Donald Trump has approved a disaster declaration for California as the state battles some 24 major wildfires burning across the state. The disaster declaration frees up federal funds to help residents and businesses harmed by the fires in 7 counties and help pay for temporary housing and repairs. The worst of the blazes were burning in and around the San Francisco Bay Area, where more than 2 lakh people have been told to flee their homes. It is now the second largest wildfire on record in the state. Nearly 14,000 firefighters have been deployed to the blazes, and only 17% of the fire could be contained. The northern Gulf Coast is bracing for a rare 1-2 hurricane punch as Laura and Marco set their sights between Louisiana and East Texas. As twin hurricanes threaten the Caribbean and U.S. Gulf Coast, U.S. President Donald Trump on Sunday called it an unprecedented threat. Hurricane Marco is forecast to hit the Louisiana coast on Monday. It will be followed by tropical storm Laura, now over the Dominican Republic and Haiti and heading towards Cuba. Coastal residents in low-lying areas of Cuba were evacuated on Sunday. Laura is expected to strengthen into a hurricane before striking the Gulf Coast on Thursday. Meanwhile, Louisiana Governor John Bell Edwards has warned the state residents that tropical storm force winds would arrive and they should be ready to ride out both Marco and Laura. The National Hurricane Center forecast Stacey Stewart warned on Sunday that back-to-back hurricanes arriving at the U.S. coast within days could result in a prolonged period of hazardous weather. The armed police patrolled Christchurch Court as the gunman who killed 51 Muslim worshippers in New Zealand's worst mass shooting appeared before the judge. Brenton Tarrant, an Australian, has pleaded guilty to 51 murder charges, 40 charges of attempted murder and 1 charge of committing a terrorist act. He is facing life in prison without parole. The court is expected to hear from 66 survivors during his 4-day sentencing hearing. The attack on the 15th of March 2019 prompted a global outpouring of grief as well as scrutiny. Tarrant, who is representing himself, will be allowed to speak before his sentencing. Live reporting from the courtroom is banned and other restrictions have been put in place on what the media can report. Coming back to United States, former U.S. Vice President and Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden, in an exclusive interview to a news channel, said that as president, he would shut the country down to stop the spread of COVID-19 if the move was recommended to him by scientists. Biden also criticized what he argued is the fundamental flaw of the Trump administration's response to the coronavirus pandemic, that the nation cannot begin to recover economically until the virus and public health emergency is under control. In the first joint interview with his running mate, Senator Kamala Harris, the former vice president said that there will be no new tax for those earning under 4 lakh US dollars, or 90% of the businesses out there that are mom and pop businesses that employ less than 50 people. On to sports, Bayern Munich defeated Paris Saint-Germain 1-0 in a tightly contested UEFA Champions League final in Lisbon to claim the crown for the 6th time. Paris-born Kingsley Coman scored the only goal just before the hour as Bayern made it 11 out of 11 wins in the competition this season. It was a night of joy for Bayern coach Hansi Flick, who added the Champions League to the Bundesliga after initially taking over as interim coach from sacked Niko Kovac in November. In contrast, it was a night of bitter disappointment for French club PSG, whose two attacking superstars Neymar and Kylian Mbappe. With this, Bayern team became the first team to win every Champions League match en route to the title and were the first unbeaten champion since Manchester United in 2007-2008 season. In a bid to promote women's football at the grassroots level, Rebels FC launched a girls' football academy. The full-fledged residential football program, integrated with educational pursuits, is located at the sprawling campus in Bangalore. Here's more in this report.
When it comes to football, India does not figure too high in the list. When it comes to women's football, it is an even more dire situation. But that was until now. The growth has been seemingly unstoppable in the last few seasons. To start off, women's national team spectacularly lifted the 2019 SAF Cup, brushing off every opponent with extreme ease and grace. The dominance of the team in the tournament was staggering and pocketed the trophy for a record 5th time. India is also going to host the Under-17 Women's FIFA World Cup. There is no doubt that the Under-17 squad will look to create history and do better than what their male counterparts could do in the men's Under-17 FIFA World Cup. Keeping all that in mind, Rebel FC launched the Girls Football Academy. The full-fledged residential football program, integrated with educational pursuit, is located at a sprawling campus in Bangalore.
The vision of the RFC Girls Residential Academy is basically to provide the platform to all the girls out there.
Premier football training destination is open to under 13 to under 22 youth from all socio-economic backgrounds, offering them an international level of training program. The academy has world-class infrastructure, which includes a full-size football field, training pitch, swimming pool, and a gym for a sports science-driven curriculum. Additionally, the academy has tied up with India's foremost talent scouting firms to ensure that athletes get a shot at professional football and placement opportunities across the football ecosystem. Taposh Bhattacharya's report, TD India.
Well, now from the world of entertainment, Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar on Sunday released the standard operating procedures for the film and TV program shooting amid the COVID-19 pandemic. The INB minister said that the film and TV industry is an important industry and the SOP has been issued after consultations with the Home Ministry and Health Ministry. He said that shooting and production for TV and films can now begin. People associated with the cine and television industry have welcomed these SOPs.
We, the film studios and the cine workers of Northeast India, welcome and appreciate the SOP of INB Ministry to cope up the challenges of COVID-19 and to continue the artistic production smoothly during this COVID-19. We thank Honorable INB Minister Sri Prakash Javadekar ji and his team for this SOP, which is designed so systematically, covering everything of our artistic productions.
जो SOP आया मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन ब्रॉडकास्टिंग से, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट से, वो इतना एप्ट है और इतना प्रोड्यूसर फ्रेंडली है कि अब प्रोड्यूसर्स को शूट करने के अंदर कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगी। जैसे पहले महाराष्ट्र गवर्नमेंट का एसओपी आया तो उसके अंदर इतनी प्रॉब्लम्स थी कि जिसकी वजह से हमको उस समय हाई कोर्ट में जाना पड़ा था और 65 ईयर्स एंड अबव की हमको परमिशन मिल गई थी। और इस एसओपी के अंदर ये है कि यू हैव टू टेक एक्स्ट्रा केयर फॉर द ओल्डर वंस एंड फॉर द यंगर वंस। उसके अलावा एसओपी इज़ परफेक्टली फिट फॉर ऑल द प्रोड्यूसर्स टू शूट। इसके अंदर कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं आएगी और सारे प्रोड्यूसर्स और हर आदमी इससे खुश होगा।
Well, on that positive note, it's time for me to say goodbye. Thanks for watching. Do take care.